Hi everyone and welcome to Inderes TV. In this video we will cover Sitowise as an investment together with their CEO Heikki. Moi!
Moi moi!
How are you doing?
All fine, all fine. Great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you in Sweden. And you also actually have operations in Sweden, which we will discuss more later on. But firstly, could you just give a brief overview of your business?
Yeah, so Sitowise, we are a technical consulting company. There are already 2,100 experts in our company. We are operating in 2 countries. Yes, Finland, there we are already like one of the leading players. And in Sweden, we had an entry to Sweden in 2019 and have been expanding since that pretty rapidly.
Yeah.
And then briefly about the actual businesses what we have. So we have 3 types of businesses. First one is infrastructure. It's about technical consulting for roads, railways, bridges, tunnels. Now also increasing the everything related to sustainability services. I mean energy, environmental impact assessments, biodiversity. Then second business is buildings business. It's about structural engineering, HVAC, electrification, renovation services, also like a project management for construction projects, some special services, acoustics planning and so on. And then the third business what we have is digital solutions. And there we have some tailor-made software development, some digital consulting helping other companies to grow in their digital journey. And then also we have more and more own products which help us also to create market. And thus we are also aiming more at like a recurring revenue business and all kind of like new smart services.
Yeah.
So that's it in brief. And maybe still about the client base, we have really broad client base. Half of our clients are from the public segment and half from the private side. So public, municipalities, government, private construction companies, housing corporations, but then also like other smaller and a little bit bigger companies. So really broad offering.
Yeah, yeah. But your business is currently most project-based, I guess. And could you elaborate a bit more how the projects are built? Is it most hourly billing or is it fixed price or is it like a combination between those two?
Yeah, exactly. This is mainly about the project business. However, still I already want to emphasize that we see that there's a huge potential for recurring services business, and that's where we are also aiming at. But about that project business, yes, 2/3 roughly are about hourly based business model, then roughly like 30% about fixed price or some kind of like a variation of fixed price contracts.
Yeah.
And then we've said already earlier, like last year in our capital market day, that we really want this recurring revenue business to grow, to have a 10% of annual revenue by the end of next year. And at the end of last year, we already had like 6%, so we are progressing well.
Yeah, but what kind of advantages do you see by having this kind of setup with like mixed hourly billing and fixed price?
Yeah, so of course hourly billing, that's really like a traditional in the whole industry. And we of course need it. We want to build on top of that one. Still highlighting again these recurring services. That's of course bringing some resilience more to the business. And we are also aiming at improving profitability with those ones. So we see that there's a big potential. And now as we know, the market environment is not the best possible one, but with the own products, we can also create the market. I see that there's a lot of value for that, of course, for our clients, but also for the investors.
Yeah, yeah. And the recurring revenue that you're speaking about, I guess it's most driven by the digital solutions side. Could you elaborate a bit more on that digital solutions? I think it's very interesting since there's a lot of opportunities to digitalize the built environment, of course. Could you perhaps give some examples on what kind of services you offer in that area?
Yeah. So our quite niche, but really important competence is to always use like a location-based data. We have like it's more like we want to be a Nordic player in the geographic information systems. Again, yeah, location-based geospatial data. That's all about. We are providing new kind of solutions, services for our clients to solve some kind of problems related to mobility, transport. Also, actually, in the forest segment, we have already extensively offering. So all of them providing like visibility on the assets, and then of course that our clients are able to make wise decisions for the assets.
Yeah, very interesting. And if we look more into your markets, like what is happening around your markets that drive the need for your services?
Yeah, so of course, if we first take like a longer term approach here, so there are a couple of mega trends that are clearly creating demand today and in the future. So firstly, urbanization, everyone knows. Then actually renovation depth is increasing, both for the infrastructure and also for the buildings. And that's creating like all the time more and more need for our services. Then again, digitalization is a clear one. And then also the climate change mitigation. And of course now applies both for Finland and Sweden. So of course the NATO and the geopolitical situation creates demand for security. And I mean like a physical security, cyber security. And those are of course something that are really also providing opportunities. But then in a more like probably like a short term here, what we see that also our focus is really much is on energy, industry segment. We haven't been there much in the past. Energy, we already have quite a lot of offering. And then sustainability services overall. There's a huge demand for these ones.
Yeah, and that's very interesting. And if we deep dive a bit more into the Swedish market, like what is your plan or ambition regarding the Swedish market?
Yeah, so maybe coming back to the past a little bit. So 2019 we had the entry to the Swedish market. We've been growing quite a lot through acquisitions, so 8 acquisitions so far. Now our strategy is to integrate these acquired companies to the Sitowise. Lately we've been creating or building the Sitowise brand here also in Sweden, and also integrating basically these acquired companies under that one or Sitowise brand overall. And as said, there has been heavy focus on the M&As. Now we are looking more on really also finding the best efficient ways of working here, like a smarter ways to handle the customer relationships, but also internally using the state-of-the-art tools what we have, which we are already using in Finland. I mean, for the expertise work what we have for our people are doing. So those are really the goals. And now looking at the organic growth here, we see that there is clearly like a need for this kind of like an agile player also in the Swedish market.
Yeah, and it's tough competition in the Swedish market. Big players that dominate the market. How would you say that you stand out there regarding the Swedish market?
Yeah, so overall, of course, the first thing is that everything starts with our people. So we have a lot of engaged, passionate people, a lot of competence applies to the Swedish market, but also in Finland. So we have a really good starting point. We already have extensively good client relationships, and of course want to expand those further. Then, as I mentioned about these tools and systems, so what we are already having in Finland, and the plan is to now take also into use in Sweden, is this, we have an own developed tool called Voima, or it's Kraft in Swedish. So, but it's really like a tool for expertise, so that our experts can be using only like one tool in their daily work, and then it has interfaces to all different tools, so it helps with all the project work. So it's bringing efficiency, and we believe that will be helping us further. And then again, coming also back to these digital solutions, we see that there's a huge potential also in the Swedish market. So far we have been more focusing on Finland, but then now we see that there's also potential here.
Yeah. And on the flip side then, what would you say are your competitive disadvantages?
Of course, we are not yet so known here in Sweden. So Sitowise brand was, as said, only just roughly one year ago or 1.5 years ago established here. So it's about more creating this kind of awareness that hey, this kind of company exists. We have a lot of competitive advantages. We are really a good choice for our clients. But this brand, like a brand recognition, is important. Then of course, secondly, naturally, okay, it applies of course for all the players, but the market environment is not the easiest one at the moment, especially in the residential segment, but also partially in some other parts. So of course now we need to work harder to get our share of that market.
Yeah. And if we talk about strategy a bit, I know you touched a bit upon it before, but what would you say are your like overall strategy? What does it look like?
Yeah, we actually renewed our strategy a bit over 1 year ago. Of course, our people are there in the middle. We launched our new purpose. It's about empowering passionate experts to solve our clients' sometimes even complex challenges. So that's really in the heart. But then where we want to go is our vision. So we want to redefine smartness in cities. And again, so of course we want to be the forerunner. We want to be the one who is leading the way, understand where the whole society is going. We also demand that our people are visionary in their work and that they are able to challenge our clients to make wise choices, wise sustainable choices for the future. And then we have 3 strategic pillars. So we want to be the most innovative, sustainable, and efficient. I already talked a little bit about this efficiency, but maybe just to continue there, that we also see that there's huge potential for the artificial intelligence usage overall. We have been already taking a lot of steps ahead with that one. It can improve both with the internal efficiency, but really also having new kind of services. Again, these SaaS type of services for our clients, which are using then AI. And that's one thing. Then sustainability. So of course, we are carbon neutral but in our own operations, but really that we are helping our customers to make wise, sustainable choices. And then we see that there's also huge demand for these sustainability services. I mean, purely from the revenue-wise, and that we are growing. And then coming to the innovative again. So there the goal is that of course we first are able to establish really like innovative culture in our company. We have been progressing already well, but then of course they're also naturally using this AI and new technologies, automating processes, but again, really these kind of like new smart services. That's where I truly believe in, and I think there's demand in that in our industry. It's not so developed yet. So like also my background from my previous companies that you can change the whole industry when you just believe in it and go for it.
Yeah, that's good. Could you elaborate a bit more on what kind of challenges and risks you need to manage to be successful with your strategy, and also how much of this is in your hands versus external factors? I guess you mentioned the challenge in the residential side that is of course driven by high interest rates, inflation, and all that. So that could be of course one external factor. But could you elaborate a bit more on the risks and challenges?
Yeah. Okay. Of course, if I start then from the external side, so as you already went to that direction, so Naturally, the market downturn is there, so hoping to see the recovery pretty soon. Of course, we are already seeing some signs of that. Maybe more in Finland, but we are now seeing the already progress in the renovation services. The market is starting to pick up. Infra has been stable. It has been growing. We have been, by the way, outperforming the market growth. That's in a stable situation. Digi market in a pretty good shape. The private sector market, however, a bit down. And in Sweden, quite similar situation there. Maybe we are seeing it's in a little bit better shape than in Finland. But anyhow, so the market to pick up, that's of course important here, that we also reach our goals. But then more on the internal factors. So of course, again, it's very much about our people, that we are able to continue to engage our people, and that our people stay really passionate and about what they are doing, and also that they see that they are able to do something meaningful. That's important. So in other words, it's about managing the employee turnover naturally. And then of course, from the client perspective, that we are also able to create new client relationships, especially here in Sweden. Those are really the things. And then maybe I'll still highlight that, of course, I would say the whole industry is not so used to sell. So now when there is a tougher market environment, you also need to work harder, also have some proactive sales. And that's where we have been focusing lately a lot and will be focusing. So those are maybe the key things impacting.
Yeah. And what kind of strategy are you working with in terms of growth versus profitability? And how are you looking to create value for your shareholders?
Yeah, so of course our long-term financial targets are that we want to have the industry-leading profitability, have a steady 10% annual growth. Last year we were not there. We want to definitely improve. Of course, it was highly impacted by this market environment. But then I'll still highlight also these like 2 strategic ambitions, which we also shared in our Capital Market Day. So coming back to the topics what we have been discussing, but 10% recurring revenue of our annual revenue by the end of 2025, and then doubling our sustainability services, so to exceed 10 million euros. And we are already progressing well with both of those. And then from the investor point of view, so of course we want to have a naturally resilient, profitably growing company, aiming for increasing the earnings per share.
Yeah. Great, profitable growth. That sounds good. Kiitos. Thank you for joining us today.
Tack så mycket.